My name is John Barker. This is the Skull and Mortar Kitchen. Oh, and your grandma calls me your favorite pitmaster. Guys, we have a near catastrophe on our hands. I have this chuck roast, which looks like it's about to go bad, but it's still smelling fresh. It's just a little bit ugly, and we're okay with ugly meat here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out what can we do with this to make it awesome. I'll tell you what, let's make chuck roast burnt ends. Holler. Guys, so the first thing we're gonna do with this, because it is so beat, we're not gonna try and cook this whole, right? We're not gonna really probably get enough seasoning and stuff to work out this oxidation in the back. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and trim off some of the most oxidized meat there. There we go, that'll work. Hopefully your chuck roast is in better shape than this one. Yeah, the meat under there doesn't look so bad though. That looks pretty, ooh, that's ugly. Let's try and get that out of there. I also want to get rid of this little sick fat right here. So one thing about chuck roast is you always want to get rid of some of that sick fat on there because it doesn't really render out. It's tough as hell. It's just a pain in the ass. There are better knives for doing this, but I'm going to take a page out of the Barbecue Pit Boys book and do whatever the hell I want with the knife. Consequences be damned. All right, so we did cut quite a bit off of here, but we ended up with an okay looking piece of meat. We are going to have to sacrifice these little bastards right here to the meat gods. The next thing we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna cube this right on up. We're gonna cube it up because we wanna get as much seasoning as possible on as much of the actual meat as possible, especially because it is nearing its expiration date. All right, guys, there we are. Look at those little meaty guys right there. Come on, look at those guys. All right, feel free to play with your meat a little bit, you freaking perverts. Always being perverts over there. I know who my audience is. All right, then we're gonna throw these into a cast iron only because I don't have a foil pan. If I did have a foil pan, I would probably use it, but I just decided to do this recipe when I realized that I was about to lose this piece of meat. So what do we do next? Well, let me show you. You find your spice rack, and you get your Skull and Mortar seasoning out. We're gonna use the OG rub. We're gonna use some gravestones. We've altered the formula a little bit so it's even more banging than it used to be, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go right over this. Oh, damn, it would have been way better to save this hand. All right, guys, after a slight glove correction, we're gonna go in here and we're just gonna hit this with gravestones. Now, I know that you're looking at it and you're thinking, damn, that's a weird color for an SPG rub, and it is. But this is basically the most bomb-ass SPG rub you'll ever have. It does have some extra spice in it, so you are gonna get a little burn to it. Not too much for you wusses out there, for the Terrys in your life. It'll be all right. We're just gonna try and get as much of that as possible, right? But we also want this to be sweet. We want it to be succulent. We want it to have all the peppery notes. And what do we got for that? Boom, a little Skull and Mortar OG rub. And we're just gonna hit this with some of that OG rub right there. Get it good. It's gonna help the color. It's gonna help the bark. It's gonna get all those deep flavor notes you like. All of those are gonna be right there on top of it. Guys, that's step one. All we gotta do now is we gotta head out to our smoker, which I have at a balmy 250 degrees, and we're gonna go ahead and throw this right on there. It's that simple, doggies. Get ready for some burn ends. Guys, it's been 2 hours and this is what we have here. Look at these guys. They look good. They're at about 165 degrees or so inside, so they have had plenty of smoke. Now it's time to get them tender AF. How are we gonna do that? Well, let me tell you, my friends. First off, we're gonna take some of that Skull and Mortar Calavera de Mile. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I did name it. So there's that. Our honey blended barbecue sauce. We're gonna put that in with some beef broth to kind of thin it out. We're gonna hit our tiny whisk here. We're just gonna whisk that together, get that good mixed in. Now we're gonna add this to our pan here to keep it moist as possible. I'm also leaving all the beef juice that was already in there in. So I wanna get about a good 1/2 inch coverage at the bottom. I would say that's probably plenty right there because we do not want to get them so soggy that there's no bark, right? We want to get a good bark covering. So in order to promote that bark covering, we're going to go ahead and hit it with some more of that rub. Okay, so we're just going to drop a few pads of butter right in there too, because we want to really thicken up that fat, that flavor. This is gonna add like a deep richness to it. Trust me on that. You know what? There's no point in saving this butter, dude. Let's just throw this butter in here too. Bam, a lot of butter in that. Guys, look at these burnt ends. It's hard to believe that this started off as chuck roast, right? Let's go and get these out of here. Look at these. Hard to believe that's just a chuck roast, right? Come on, dude. It just squishes right apart. It's very tender. Let's give it a bite. Guys, that's literally all it takes to get your chuck roast up to that next level. Make it a burn end. It's fire. You don't want to buy a whole brisket? Get a chuck roast, man. I'm gonna put mine on a baked potato. Do whatever you want with yours. That being said, we're here like every week with brand new videos. Check us out also on Twitch. Skull and Mortar everywhere, baby. Let's go. So after we get you looking dope as possible in your Skull and Mortar t-shirt, we gotta get to the cooking. You might as well get that food tasting fly as possible with your Beach Bum Barbecue Rub, made exclusively by Skull and Mortar. It's award-winning. It's gonna take your food from the bottom to the top. And after we sauce you up, we might as well rub you up, my friends, with that Skull and Mortar rub. That's right, don't be a pervert. We're not talking about that kind of rub up, my friend. We're talking about the rub that you put on your meat. Again, come on, dude. Have some class. Put this on your chicken, your pork, your beef, your fish. It doesn't matter, you can put it on anything. If you can find something you can't put it on, shoot me a DM because you'll literally blow my own mind. Check it out now at skullandmortar.com.